Alex Wright squinted at the math problem for the fifth time, the numbers blurring as exhaustion took hold. His 10-year-old son, Jamie, sat across from him at their small kitchen table. Homework spread between them like a battlefield neither knew how to navigate. "Dad, I need to get this done by tomorrow. Mrs. Peterson said it's super important." Alex ran a hand through his dark hair. "I know, buddy. I'm trying." 6 months ago, he might have been able to help, before losing his job as an engineering project manager, before the divorce. Before they'd moved from their comfortable suburban home to this cramped apartment with its leaky faucets and temperamental heating. "Maybe we should ask Google," Jamie suggested, reaching for Alex's phone. "We've already tried that," Alex replied, his voice gentle despite his frustration. At 34, he hadn't expected to be stumbling through elementary school math. His engineering degree felt like it belonged to someone else's life now. The doorbell rang, startling them both. "That's probably Miss Garcia about her plumbing again," Alex sighed, pushing back his chair. As the building's unofficial maintenance man, a job that earned him a small discount on rent interruptions, were frequent. But when he opened the door, it wasn't his elderly neighbor. Instead, a boy about Jamie's age stood in the hallway, clutching a textbook and looking uncertain. "Hi," the boy said. "Are you Mr. Wright, the math tutor?" Alex blinked in confusion. "I think there's been a mistake. I'm not." "Oh." The boy's face fell. "My mom saw your flyer at the community center about helping with homework." Recognition dawned on Alex. 2 weeks ago, desperate for extra income, he'd posted a small notice offering to help neighborhood kids with math and science. He'd forgotten all about it after receiving 0 responses. "That's me," Alex confirmed, suddenly straightening his posture. "Sorry, it's been a long day. Come in." "Ethan," the boy supplied, stepping inside. "Ethan Olson." Jamie perked up at the sight of another kid, immediately clearing space at the table. "This is my son, Jamie," Alex introduced them. "We were just working on math, too. Are you in 5th grade at Oak Ridge Elementary?" Jamie asked eagerly. Ethan nodded. "Mrs. Peterson's class." "Me too," Jamie exclaimed, as if this coincidence was the most exciting thing to happen all week. Maybe it was. For the next hour, Alex guided both boys through their math problems, finding that explaining concepts to Ethan helped Jamie understand too. The work that had seemed impenetrable before now flowed more easily, and Alex felt a spark of his old confidence returning. When they finished, Ethan checked his phone. "My mom's here," he announced. "I'll walk you down," Alex offered, not wanting to send a child alone to the building's entrance. In the lobby stood a woman whose appearance momentarily stunned Alex into silence. Tall and elegant in a simple cream blouse and tailored pants, she had dark auburn hair swept into a casual updo that somehow looked both effortless and perfect. When she turned, her green eyes widened slightly at the sight of him. "Mr. Wright?" she asked, extending her hand. "I'm Sophia Olson, Ethan's mother. Thank you so much for seeing him on such short notice." Her handshake was firm, her smile genuine. Alex became acutely aware of his faded jeans and the coffee stain on his T-shirt. "Just Alex, please, and it was no problem. Ethan's a quick study." Sophia's expression softened as she looked at her son. "How did it go, honey?" "Great. I understand fractions now," Ethan replied with enthusiasm that made Alex smile. "That's wonderful," Sophia said before turning back to Alex. "What do I owe you for the session?" Alex hesitated, calculating quickly. $20 is fine." Something flickered in Sophia's eyes, surprise, maybe, before she reached into her purse and pulled out 2 $20 bills. "This is 40, Alex pointed out, feeling heat rise in his cheeks. "Consider it a deposit for next time," she replied smoothly. "Ethan struggles with math, and your help made a real difference. Could we set up regular sessions, twice a week, regular income?" Alex felt a weight lift from his shoulders. "Absolutely. What days work best for you?" They arranged for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and as Sophia and Ethan walked toward the exit, Alex couldn't help noticing the sleek black Audi SUV waiting outside. "See you Thursday, Mr. Wright?" Ethan called. Jamie appeared at his side as they left. "Dad, can we get pizza with the money you earned?" Alex laughed, ruffling his son's hair. "Sure thing, buddy. We can celebrate my first tutoring job." 2 weeks later, Alex had settled into a comfortable routine with Ethan's tutoring. The boy was bright, but needed concepts explained differently than they were presented in class. Each session left Alex feeling more like himself again. The capable, confident person he'd been before life had pulled the rug out from under him. On Thursday, he was surprised when Sophia came up instead of waiting in the car. "I hope you don't mind," she said, standing somewhat awkwardly in his small living room. "I'd love to see how you're helping Ethan. He got an on his last quiz, which is a first for math." Pride swelled in Alex's chest. "That's great, please join us." For the next hour, Sophia sat quietly, watching as Alex guided Ethan through problem-solving strategies. Occasionally, her gaze traveled around the apartment, taking in the mismatched furniture and the family photos on the wall. Alex tried not to feel self-conscious about the cramped space. When they finished, Ethan went to use the bathroom, and Sophia turned to Alex with an earnest expression. "You're remarkable with him," she said. "Most tutors just do the problems and expect him to follow along. You actually teach." Alex shrugged, unused to praise. "I just explain things the way I would have wanted someone to explain them to me when I was his age. Were you good at math as a kid?" "I was decent, better at physics." He paused. "I was an engineering project manager before. Well, before I wasn't." Something in Sophia's expression changed. "What happened, if you don't mind my asking?" Alex hesitated. He didn't usually share his story with virtual strangers, but something about Sophia's attentive gaze made him continue. "Company downsized last year. I was one of the last hired, so." He trailed off. "Then my ex-wife decided she didn't want to be married to an unemployed engineer. The divorce was finalized 4 months ago." Sophia's eyes softened with compassion, not pity. "I'm sorry. That sounds incredibly difficult." "We're managing," Alex said, glancing toward Jamie, who was showing Ethan his collection of rocks on the other side of the room. "Jamie's the priority. As long as he's okay, I'm okay." When Sophia spoke again, her voice was quieter. "I'm divorced too, 3 years now. It's not easy, is it?" Being both parents at once, the question caught him off guard, not because it was intrusive, but because it was exactly what he'd been feeling. "No," he admitted. "It's not, but we do our best." Ethan returned, and the moment passed. As they prepared to leave, Sophia handed Alex an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "Ethan's math test," she replied with a smile. "The I mentioned, I thought you might like to see it." That night, after Jamie was asleep, Alex opened the envelope. Inside was indeed Ethan's test with a bright red circled at the top. But there was also a business card. Sophia Olson, Executive Vice President, Olson Development Group. Alex stared at the card for a long time, recognizing the name of one of the city's largest real estate development companies. The Olson family was practically local royalty, with buildings and parks bearing their name throughout the city. He'd been tutoring a millionaire's son, and charging $20 an hour. The next morning, Alex was fixing Mrs. Garcia's kitchen sink when his phone rang. Sophia's name flashed on the screen. She'd given him her number for scheduling purposes. "Hello," he answered, wedging the phone between his ear and shoulder as he tightened a pipe fitting. "Alex, hi. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time." "Not at all," he lied, as water dripped onto his forehead. "What can I do for you?" "I have a somewhat unusual request. Ethan's school is hosting a career day next week, and they're looking for speakers with backgrounds in STEM fields. When you mentioned engineering, I thought of you immediately." Alex froze. "I'm not an engineer anymore. I mean, I have the degree, but that's exactly what the kids need to hear," Sophia interrupted gently. "That careers have ups and downs, and education stays with you regardless. Plus, Ethan would be thrilled to have you there." "I don't know." They pay $200, she added, her tone slightly apologetic, as if she hated mentioning money but knew it might matter to him. It did matter. That amount would cover the electric bill and Jamie's upcoming field trip. Okay, he agreed. I'll do it. Wonderful. Would you like to meet for coffee this weekend to discuss what the presentation should cover? Saturday morning, perhaps? Alex hesitated. Was this a professional meeting or something else? He found himself hoping for the latter, then immediately felt guilty. She was his student's mother. A wealthy, successful businesswoman, and he was a struggling single dad who currently had his head under a sink. Saturday works, he said finally. Great, the Coffee Bean on Main Street, 10 o'clock, I'll be there. After hanging up, Alex leaned back against the cabinet, mind racing. It wasn't a date, he reminded himself. Definitely not a date. So why did it feel so important to make a good impression? Saturday morning arrived with a downpour that turned the streets into small rivers. Alex stood under the awning of the Coffee Bean, shaking water from his jacket. He'd made an effort with his appearance, wearing his one decent button-down shirt and the jeans without any frayed edges. Through the foggy window, he spotted Sophia already inside, seated at a corner table. She wore a casual sweater that looked impossibly soft, her auburn hair falling in loose waves around her shoulders. Without the context of his apartment or Ethan's tutoring, she looked even more striking. He took a deep breath and pushed open the door. I was starting to worry you might not make it through the flood, Sophia said with a warm smile as he approached. I considered building an ark, Alex replied, surprising himself with the ease of his response. But I didn't want to be late. Sophia laughed, the sound genuine and unrestrained. I took the liberty of ordering you a coffee. Black, right? I noticed that's how you drink it during our sessions. Alex was touched by the observation. Perfect, thank you. As they discussed the career day presentation, he found himself relaxing. Sophia was easy to talk to, asking intelligent questions about his engineering background and offering suggestions for making the material accessible to fifth graders. So you really built bridges? She asked, looking impressed. I helped design them, Alex clarified. Much less impressive than actually building them. I disagree. Designing requires vision. Anyone can follow a blueprint, but creating one that takes something special. Their coffee grew cold as the conversation drifted from career day to their children, their own school experiences, and eventually to how they each ended up as single parents. My ex-husband was married to his job, Sophia explained, tracing the rim of her cup with one finger. Ironic, since that's what people probably assume about me, but I've always tried to put Ethan first, even with the demands of the family business. That couldn't have been easy, Alex said, thinking of the high-profile company she helped run. It wasn't, still isn't. What about you? You mentioned your ex-wife left after you lost your job. Alex shifted uncomfortably. That was part of it. We'd been having problems before. The job loss just accelerated things. He paused. She's remarried now, lives in Colorado. Does Jamie see her? Twice a year, she's not particularly maternal. Sophia's expression held no judgment. That must be hard for both of you. Jamie's resilient. Kids adapt, you know, but sometimes I worry that I'm not enough, that he needs more than just me. From what I've seen, you're a wonderful father, Sophia said, her voice sincere. Jamie looks at you like you hung the moon. Alex felt warmth spread through his chest. Thank you for saying that. The sound of her phone interrupted the moment. Sophia glanced at the screen and sighed. I'm sorry, I need to take this. Work emergency. As she stepped away to take the call, Alex watched her. In profile, with the soft light of the cafe illuminating her features, she looked like she belonged on a magazine cover. Yet there was nothing artificial about her warmth or the genuine interest she'd shown in his life. When she returned, her expression was apologetic. I hate to cut this short, but I need to go into the office. One of our projects is having permit issues. Of course, Alex said, hiding his disappointment. I understand. As they gathered their things, Sophia hesitated. I enjoyed talking with you, Alex, about more than just tutoring and career day. Me too, he admitted. Maybe we could do it again sometime. The question held a touch of uncertainty that surprised him, coming from someone who seemed so confident in every other way. I'd like that, Alex replied, feeling something hopeful stir within him for the first time in months. Career day arrived the following week, and Alex found himself standing before 35th graders, explaining the principles of structural engineering using toothpicks and marshmallows. To his surprise, the kids were engaged, asking questions and eagerly building their own miniature bridges. From the back of the classroom, Sophia watched, having taken time from her busy schedule to attend. Her presence both calmed and flustered him. Mr. Wright is Ethan's tutor, he overheard her explaining to the teacher. He's been absolutely transformational for my son's confidence in math. Pride straightened his spine. When the presentation ended, several parents approached with questions about his tutoring services. You're going to need business cards, Sophia said with a smile as they walked toward the parking lot afterward. I think you might be right, Alex replied, slightly dazed by the positive reception. As they reached her car, Sophia turned to face him. I have another proposition for you. Our company has a STEM education initiative for underprivileged schools. We're looking for someone to develop and implement a pilot program. She paused. I think you'd be perfect for it. Alex stared at her. Are you offering me a job, a consulting position to start? 20 hours a week, which would leave you time for tutoring. The pay is good, very good, actually. His first instinct was suspicion. Are you doing this because you feel sorry for me? Sophia's expression grew serious. Absolutely not. I'm doing this because you're qualified and talented. The fact that I enjoy your company is entirely separate from my professional assessment of your skills. You enjoy my company? The words slipped out before he could stop them. A slight blush colored her cheeks. I do, very much. But I would never offer you a position if I didn't believe you were the right person for it. Alex studied her face, searching for any sign of pity or charity, but found only sincerity. I'd need to know more about the requirements, the expectations. Of course, Sophia said, reaching into her purse and pulling out a folder. All the details are in here. Take your time to think about it. Their fingers brushed as he took the folder and neither pulled away immediately. Thank you, Alex said finally. This means a lot. Just promise you'll still tutor Ethan, regardless of your decision. He's finally starting to enjoy math. Alex smiled. I wouldn't dream of abandoning my star pupil. Over the next few weeks, Alex's life transformed. He accepted the consulting position with Olson Development Group, working from home most days while continuing his growing tutoring business in the evenings. The financial pressure that had been crushing him began to ease. Meanwhile, his friendship with Sophia deepened. They texted regularly, initially about work and their sons, but increasingly about books they'd read or shows they'd watched. Twice more, they met for coffee, conversations flowing easily between professional topics and personal ones. Yet neither crossed the invisible line between friendship and something more, though Alex increasingly found himself wanting to. One Thursday evening in May, as Ethan's tutoring session wrapped up, Sophia arrived early to pick him up. She seemed uncharacteristically nervous. Everything okay? Alex asked as Ethan gathered his books. Yes, fine, she replied quickly. Actually, I was wondering if you and Jamie might like to join us for dinner on Saturday. We're celebrating Ethan's birthday with a small gathering at our house. Oh, Alex said, surprised by the invitation. I'm sure Jamie would love that. And you? Sophia asked, meeting his gaze directly. I'd love it too, he admitted. She smiled, relief evident in her expression. Wonderful, I'll text you the address. Nothing fancy, just a backyard barbecue with a few of Ethan's friends. Saturday arrived with perfect weather, clear blue skies, and a gentle breeze. Alex had agonized over what gift to bring for Ethan before settling on a telescope kit he'd found on sale, remembering the boys' interest in astronomy from their conversations. "Do you think Ethan will like it?" Jamie asked for the 10th time as they drove. "I think he'll love it," Alex assured him, though his own nerves were about Sophia rather than her son. The address led them to an elegant home in the city's most exclusive neighborhood. Not ostentatious, but undeniably impressive, with its clean architectural lines and landscaped grounds. Alex parked his aging sedan between a Mercedes and a Range Rover, feeling distinctly out of place. "Whoa," Jamie breathed as they walked up the driveway. "Ethan lives in a mansion." "It's not a mansion," Alex corrected gently. "Just a really nice house." The front door opened before they reached it, and Sophia stepped out, wearing a simple sundress that made Alex momentarily forget his nervousness. "You made it," she exclaimed, her smile radiant. "Come in. Everyone's out back." She led them through the house, modern and tasteful, but warmer than Alex had expected, with family photos and Ethan's artwork prominently displayed to a backyard where about a dozen children were playing on a sprawling lawn. A few adults chatted near a grill where an older man was cooking. "Dad," Sophia called to the man at the grill, "this is Alex Wright and his son Jamie. Alex is the engineering consultant I told you about and Ethan's tutor." The man turned, and Alex recognized the resemblance to Sophia immediately, the same green eyes and warm smile. "Arthur Olson," he introduced himself, shaking Alex's hand firmly. "I've heard good things about you, young man, very good things." There was something knowing in the older man's expression that made Alex wonder exactly what Sophia had told her father about him. Jamie quickly joined the other children, leaving Alex with Sophia. "This is a beautiful home," he said, feeling the inadequacy of the words. "Thank you." "It was my grandparents' originally." She gestured toward a quieter corner of the yard. "Would you like a drink? We have everything from lemonade to single malt." "Lemonade sounds perfect," Alex replied, following her to a drink station. As she poured, Sophia seemed to make a decision. "I should probably tell you something," she said, her voice lowered. "My father thinks we're dating." Alex nearly choked on air. "He what?" "I talk about you a lot," she admitted, a blush coloring her cheeks. "He made assumptions. I didn't correct him because... Sophia met his gaze directly. "Because I wish it were true." The world seemed to still around them. The children's laughter, the adults' conversation, the music playing softly from hidden speakers, all faded to background noise as Alex processed her words. "I've wanted to ask you out properly for weeks," Sophia continued when he didn't immediately respond. "But I wasn't sure if it would be appropriate, given our professional connection. And I didn't want you to think I was just, I don't know, slumming or something ridiculous like that." Alex found his voice at last. "I've wanted to ask you out too, but I convinced myself you couldn't possibly be interested in me. You're..." He gestured vaguely, encompassing her and the beautiful home around them. "And I'm a brilliant, kind, devoted father who makes me laugh and thinks deeply and explains complex concepts so clearly that even my mathematically challenged son can understand them." Sophia finished for him. "That's who you are, Alex. That's what I see when I look at you." Alex felt a tightness in his chest ease a tension he hadn't even realized he'd been carrying. "In that case," he said, stepping closer, "would you like to have dinner with me sometime? Just the two of us." Sophia's smile was answer enough, but she replied anyway. "I'd love that." The birthday party continued around them, but something fundamental had shifted. When their hands brushed as they walked back to the main group, neither pulled away. When Arthur Olson gave Alex an approving nod later, he returned it with newfound confidence. That evening, as Alex and Jamie prepared to leave, Ethan was ecstatic about his new telescope, already making plans with Jamie to stargaze together. "Maybe next weekend," Sophia suggested, walking Alex to his car. "The boys could set up the telescope here. The light pollution is less than at your apartment." "That sounds perfect," Alex agreed. Standing beside his car, Sophia looked up at him, the setting sun catching in her auburn hair. "I'm glad you came today." Me too, Alex replied, suddenly aware of how close they were standing. I'll see you Tuesday for Ethan's tutoring. Alex nodded then, gathering his courage, leaned down and kissed her cheek gently. Good night, Sophia. Her smile was soft, her eyes warm with promise. Good night, Alex. In the car, Jamie buckled his seatbelt, clutching a goodie bag from the party. Dad, do you like Miss Olson? Alex glanced at his son, considering how to answer. Yes, I do. Would that be okay with you? Jamie thought for a moment, then nodded decisively. Yeah, she's nice. And she looks at you the way Princess Leia looks at Han Solo. Alex laughed, feeling lighter than he had in years. That's a good thing, right? Duh, Dad. It's the best thing. 6 months later, on a crisp autumn evening, Alex stood in Sophia's kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner while she reviewed documents at the island counter. In the living room, Jamie and Ethan worked on a science project, their heads bent together in concentration. They're getting along well, Sophia observed, glancing up from her work. Alex smiled. They're practically brothers already. The word hung in the air between them, full of meaning. Their relationship had progressed steadily since Ethan's birthday party. Weeknight dinners became weekend outings, which evolved into family vacations. The boys, initially brought together by coincidence and math tutoring, had formed a friendship that rivaled their parents' deepening connection. Sophia set aside her papers and came to stand beside Alex, resting her head against his shoulder. I have something to show you, she said, reaching into her pocket and pulling out a small key. Alex raised an eyebrow. What's this? A key to my house, our house, if you want it to be. He set down the knife, turning to face her fully. Are you asking me to move in with you? I'm asking all three of us to move in with you, Sophia clarified, gesturing toward Jamie. Your apartment lease is up next month. The boys are at the same school. We spend most of our time together anyway. She paused, suddenly uncertain. Unless you think it's too soon. Alex thought about the journey that had brought them here, from struggling single dad to respected consultant and tutor, from lonely evenings with just him and Jamie to this warm, blended family they were creating. It's not too soon, he said, pulling her close. It's perfect timing. Later that night, after both boys were asleep, Jamie in the guest room that would soon be officially his, Ethan in his own bedroom down the hall, Alex and Sophia sat on the patio, a shared blanket wrapped around their shoulders against the autumn chill. I never imagined this, Alex admitted, watching the stars above them. A year ago, I was just trying to survive each day, make sure Jamie had what he needed, keep a roof over our heads. Sophia squeezed his hand. You've done so much more than survive, Alex. You've built a new life for yourself. For Jamie, the STEM program you developed is changing how hundreds of kids experience science and math. I couldn't have done any of that without you believing in me, he said softly. That's not true. You had everything you needed inside you already. I just recognized it. She turned to face him, her expression serious in the dim light. That's what love is, isn't it? Seeing the best in someone even when they've forgotten it's there. Alex felt his heart swell. Is that what this is? Love? Sophia's smile was tender. What else could it be? Reaching into his pocket, Alex withdrew a small velvet box. I've been carrying this around for weeks, waiting for the right moment. I think this is it. Sophia's eyes widened as he opened the box to reveal a simple but elegant diamond ring. It's not as grand as you deserve, Alex said, suddenly nervous. But it's a promise. That I'll always see the best in you, just as you've seen in me. That we'll build something beautiful together, not just buildings or educational programs, but a family, our family. Tears shimmered in Sophia's eyes as she nodded, unable to speak. Sophia Olson, Alex continued, his voice steady despite the pounding of his heart. Will you marry me? Yes, she whispered, then louder. Yes, absolutely yes. As he slipped the ring onto her finger, Alex marveled at how life could change so completely in just 1 year. From struggling to help his son with homework, to finding love with a woman who saw beyond his circumstances to the man he truly was. Should we tell the boys tomorrow? Sophia asked, admiring the ring on her finger. First thing, Alex agreed. Though I have a feeling Jamie's been expecting this. He asked me last week if Ethan could be his brother for real. Sophia laughed, the sound mingling with the night breeze. Ethan asked me something similar. Great minds think alike. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, planning their future together in unspoken thoughts and gentle caresses. You know, Sophia said eventually, when I first saw your flyer at the community center, I almost didn't call. I thought, what could some random tutor possibly teach Ethan that his expensive private instructors haven't tried? What made you change your mind? She smiled, remembering. The flyer said patient help from someone who remembers what it's like to be confused. It wasn't about credentials or experience. It was about empathy. She touched his face gently. I think I started falling for you before we even met. Alex pulled her closer, overwhelmed with gratitude for the twists of fate that had brought them together. A desperate flyer at a community center. A struggling boy who needed help with math. A mother who recognized something special in a man who'd forgotten his own worth. I love you, he whispered against her hair. All of this you, the boys, our future, it's more than I ever dreamed possible. It's just the beginning, Sophia promised, sealing the words with a kiss. Above them, the stars continued their ancient patterns, witnessing this new constellation forming below two families becoming one, drawn together by chance and choice and the quiet miracle of finding exactly what you need when you least expect it.